Are you relocating to Austin and you're looking for some fun things to do that are not in the heart of the city? Or are you a local looking for some great day trips? Well, this video is for you. This video is all about great day trips from Austin. They're all within about 2 hours of Austin, and I head north, south, east, and west. So make sure to stay to the end of the video so you know all the great towns that I'm going to recommend. I'm Kim Wilkin, realtor and broker associate here in Austin, Texas. And if you are interested in the real estate market as well as things to do here in Austin, then make sure to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you're the first to learn about what is happening in this gorgeous town we call home. Let's go ahead and get started with our first day trip town. The first place to start and go to is to Georgetown, Texas. It is a charming, really charming town with a beautiful center square, and it is actually the hub of Williamson County, which is the county just north of Austin proper, or Travis County. There's lots of shopping. There are some great wine bars as well. There's also a wonderful kind of meat and three Southern style restaurant called Monument Cafe that I absolutely love. They also have a Mexican version as well called El Monumento, which is also delicious. There is a great wine bar there as well called Cork, and a couple of great coffee shops, and of course some great shopping. There's a really interesting history going on in Georgetown, Texas as well. Also, it is really beautiful there because you have the San Gabriel River running through the area of Georgetown. I love it. I love Georgetown to go just for the day because it's only about a 30-minute drive from downtown Austin. Oh, and one more thing about Georgetown. It is very close to Interspace Caverns. So if you like to go see stalactites and stalagmites and go see the caverns, especially when it's about 105 degrees in the Austin area in the middle of summer, then the Interspace Caverns will be a great place to visit. Let's talk about our second city, which is also north. It is another hour, I would say, from Georgetown. It's about an hour and a half from Austin, and it is Waco, Texas. Not Waco, it is Waco. And this is where you'll find Magnolia Silos. So if you're a fan of Chip and Joanna, then going to Waco is an absolute must. Going to Magnolia Silos is a fantastic, fun thing to do. Lots of shopping, it's definitely a ladies' trip. Guys, you're gonna wanna sit in the car or go to a bar. Maybe you can go to some of the bars in and around Baylor. That would be a good idea, or maybe watch a football game. Magnolia Silos is definitely for the ladies, and it's a lot of fun. Also, which is great, they have a restaurant called Magnolia Table, and there the food is delicious. It's packed. It's also sort of family oriented and Southern cooking. It's really nice, beautiful layout, and beautiful food as well. I've already mentioned Baylor, but let's talk about the actual university. You can take a tour of the university, go to a football game, cheer on in your green and yellow, and have a great time for a great university town that Waco is. The one thing that is very interesting in and around Waco is the Mammoth National Park. You can go in and see skeletons because they have pulled up dinosaurs and skeletons of mammoths in the area. And it is a really cool experience and a great museum to go to and check out when you're in the Waco area. The last thing to visit in Waco, if you're adventurous, is the Waco Surf Resort. So if you would like to go surfing in the middle of Texas where there are no waves, then try the Waco Surf Resort. They have classes all of the time. They also have professional competitions there. It's quite a cool experience to go check out the Waco Surf Resort. So our team, the Abundant Property Group, has helped hundreds of clients just like you buy, sell, and invest here in Austin. And we would love to help you realize your real estate dreams here in town. So reach out to us. You can call us, you can text us, you can email, or you can book a Zoom call. We would love to help you, and we can't wait to connect with you. Let's go ahead and continue on with our day trips from Austin. Now that we've covered north of Austin, let's head east now. And there are two great cities to visit. One is Lockhart, which is about 30 minutes southeast, and it is the barbecue capital of Texas. My recommendation, you're gonna think I'm crazy, my recommendation is to go with a couple of friends and go to several barbecue joints in the same day. Yes, you're gonna have the meat sweats. Yes, it's gonna be tough when you're done, but it is well worth tasting all the different barbecue at the different places. So my first stop would be Smitty's, and my favorite thing at Smitty's are their sausages. The next stop that I would go to is Black's, and Black's is known for their brisket, all their sides. They have a ton of sides, as well as their beef ribs, and a beef rib is gonna be very expensive and about this big. It's crazy, but it's well worth it to try it there. On Saturdays, if you get there in time, you can also go on the square in Lockhart and go to Barb's BQ. It is a barbecue joint, only open on Saturday, only open until they run out of food, and it is run and owned by women. So the style is totally different. The meat tastes totally different, and what I absolutely love, I think they have the most sophisticated and tasty sides there at Barb's. So those are my restaurants that I would recommend for barbecue. There is one restaurant that I recommend as well, but there are some great restaurants because a lot of the local South Austin and old school Austin people are moving out to Lockhart. So Foreign and Domestic has opened Commerce Cafe right there on the square, where the food is just delicious. Also right down the street from Commerce Cafe is a Commerce Gallery, which is owned and run by a real estate broker based in Austin. Great, beautiful art and great events there. There's a cool little wine shop in Lockhart as well. Somewhat like Georgetown, Lockhart has a big square with a bunch of shops and restaurants around it, with the big, gorgeous, old school building in the center as the county seat. Also headed out east is Bastrop. Bastrop is not quite similar to Lockhart, but a little bit. There is a great restaurant called Neighbors there, right there on the Colorado River. You can walk up and down the trail on the Colorado River. You can go shopping on Main Street as well. There's a distillery that is based on Main Street, and you can go to Bastrop State Park as well as Lake Bastrop. So if you're looking for things to do a little more outside, then I would recommend going to Bastrop. One thing that I find charming about Bastrop is their visitor center. So if you're looking for a little bit of history about Bastrop, then stop in. The staff there they are super friendly, super helpful, and you get a little history about Bastrop. So let's talk about some things that are now southwest. We're not going out to the hill country yet, just southwest. The first town is Dripping Springs, and Dripping Springs is growing exponentially. They have amazing schools, lots of growth, lots of new construction homes in Dripping. But to me, Dripping Springs feels a little bit like old school Texas. You still see guys in cowboy boots, not necessarily hats anymore, but you do see like big trucks. I love the vibe. They've got some charming coffee shops down there. There is a wonderful restaurant called Pius Pizza. I actually don't get the pizza there. What I get is their corned beef, which is to die for. It is so good. I usually get that to go. I get a couple of pounds, kind of like you're ordering barbecue from Lockhart. I order that by the pound, and it is so delicious with their mustard and their pickles. One of the biggest things to do out and around Dripping Springs is to go to some of the breweries and some of the distilleries. So I recommend going to Jester King, which is a wonderful brewery, and most of these breweries and distilleries have restaurants or food trucks on them. You can have a big party there, get together. There are usually picnic tables out there, some indoor, some outdoor. So be careful about going in the middle of summer when it's 105 degrees to make sure you can go inside. Another place that I recommend besides Jester King is to go to Treaty Oak. It is a distillery. I love their drinks. They make some great bourbons. They actually make a gin as well. And I was recently at a party there for my real estate company, eXp Realty. I love going out there for the day and going to the distilleries and the breweries out and around Dripping Springs. And it's also the beginning of the hill country. So it's got a different vibe in Dripping that I absolutely love. I have a lot of friends that live out in the area. Now we're gonna go to Wimberly, Texas. And Wimberly has tons of shopping. I'm talking tons of shopping. Lots and lots of shopping. There are so many shops. There's a great succulent plant shop there, which is a little bizarre, but I love that shop. There's some great restaurants. There's plenty of shopping up and down the main street. There's some old buildings as well, which have art galleries. There's some great restaurants, great ice cream shops as well. There is a great restaurant called the Leaning Pear, where it's a more of an upscale restaurant that you can go to, where they have seating inside as well as outside, because Wimberly is located on the Blanco River, and it is so much fun to take, and I'm serious, the Blanco River is only about this deep in a lot of places, so you can take a lawn chair, sit out in your lawn chair in the middle of the Blanco River and have a beer or a glass of wine in the middle of the day and just enjoy the little bit of the lazy river rolling down. So even though the Blanco River looks a little bit lazy and a little bit harmless, just be careful and note and pay attention to the locals in the area, because the Blanco River does flood, so you don't want to get caught in Wimberly when there might be a flood, because that's a terrible place to be. So if you're going to be going to Wimberly, there are 2 additional things that I might try. One, especially if you're going to spend the night, there is this really cool place to stay called Yurtopia. So you can stay in a yurt right next to Wimberly, and it's a lot of fun to hang out, be out in nature, and stay in a yurt overnight, which is a really cool experience. Also, if it's the middle of summer and it's very hot and you are tired of shopping and eating, then you can go down to the Blue Hole, which is a very famous place to go. It's a swimming hole where you can actually jump off a cliff into the Blue Hole. And the reason it's called the Blue Hole is because it's literally a hole that is deeper, and so the water is bright blue. I love Wimberly. I love going there on the weekend, like I'm spending a Saturday there. They also have one day a month, they have a huge flea market in Wimberly, which is a lot of fun as well. You can do all of your shopping, anything that you need, all of your knickknacks and trinkets, woodworking, etc. So go to the once a month flea market in Wimberly, or just hang out there on a Saturday and enjoy the shopping and enjoy the food. Now that we've been southwest, let's go straight south of Austin. The first town that we're going to visit is about 30 minutes, 25 minutes from Austin, and it's New Braunsfels. It is a great place to be for Oktoberfest. They're famous for their Oktoberfest, and it is one of the towns that was settled by the Germans. A couple of things that are really fun to do in the area is to go to Green Hall and go dancing at Green Hall. It is a huge dance hall. Great bands, some of the best bands across, best country bands across the entire country will come to Green Hall, and it is so much fun to go get your dance on, get your boot scoot on. Remember, no line dancing, only 2-stepping where we are here in Texas. No line dancing, you'll get kicked off and kicked out of the bar. But Green Hall is a great place to go listen to music, see people dance, and learn to dance yourself. Sometimes they have dance lessons. The other great thing to do in New Braunfels is to float the Guadalupe. It is so much fun and so redneck to float the river. You're in an inner tube, you and all your friends are connected, you have ropes between the different inner tubes. It is so much fun to spend a day in the summer, and if you aren't working, it's probably better to do the summer on a weekday than a weekend, because the weekends are so busy. But floating the Guadalupe is such a fun thing to do in New Braunfels. Our next stop straight south is a very famous place to visit, and that is San Antonio. San Antonio is known for its Riverwalk, its Mexican food, and for the Alamo. So going to San Antonio is about an hour-and-a-half drive down I-35 from Austin. Even though it's 80 miles, it takes about an hour-and-a-half. Couple of great things. So yes, you have to go visit the Alamo, and remember, the Alamo is actually a lot smaller than you think it is. Also, going to the Riverwalk, there's great restaurants. I'm not going to recommend any necessarily, because you can just walk up and down the Riverwalk and enjoy margaritas and Mexican food all the way up and down. Another area to go to in San Antonio is the Pearl Street District. That's where you're gonna find some cool restaurants, some great bars, some great hotels as well. And I would recommend, if you're going to be spending the night in San Antonio, that you stay in the Pearl Street District, or actually on the Riverwalk. But of course me, I'd rather stay on the Pearl Street District Hotel. A couple of restaurants I recommend in the Pearl Street District are Southerly Fine Foods, as well as Quality Daughter Asian House. Those are 2 incredible restaurants that I would suggest you try while you're visiting San Antonio. Now that we're in San Antonio, we're gonna start heading up to the hill country. The first stop, I'm just gonna make a mention of this. It is a small town similar to Fredricksburg, But if you are looking for a great stopping off point, then I would recommend going to Boerne. There are some great shops, there's great homes around there, there are great Airbnbs as well, and a couple of fun restaurants to try. I don't know if I would spend the night there, but it is definitely worth stopping by. So let's go ahead and talk about Fredricksburg. Fredricksburg is probably the most famous place to visit in the entire hill country. It's a lot of fun. It's a German town. It's very similar to New Braunsfels, and there is so much to do. First of all, Main Street shopping. You can shop from morning till night at Main Street. There are so many places to go see and lots of shopping. So make sure to bring some extra bags for whatever you're gonna buy so you can carry home. There are a couple of restaurants that I recommend there on the main street. There are a couple of German restaurants, but I do recommend going to Vaudeville. It's got a cool vibe. They also have some great parties there as well. Also, in the evenings in Fredricksburg, it's a great place to go listen to music. There's some great country bands that come through Fredricksburg on a regular basis. I would definitely spend the night in Fredricksburg because there is so much to do, more than some of the other cities. So day trips, I'd probably spend the night in San Antonio, and I'd probably spend the night in Fredericksburg, and the rest of them I probably would use as a day trip. Couple of restaurants I recommend besides Vaudeville. I would suggest going to Otto's, which is delicious, high-end, delicious food. I would also recommend going to the Herb Garden. It's a beautiful restaurant. It's also a wonderful place to stay. So if you're looking for a charming bed and breakfast, more exclusive, higher end, then maybe the Herb Garden is the perfect place for you. One other thing to mention, if you're not much of a shopper and you're just coming in to do some hiking, then going to Enchanted Rock is the perfect day hike. Just make sure that you go there early in the morning because the parking lots fill up, and of course in summer it gets really hot and overcrowded. So make sure to show up early in the morning if you want to park at Enchanted Rock and get a ticket to get into the park. Enchanted Rock is such a weird thing when you drive up on it. You're driving down the highway and all of a sudden you see this gigantic boulder, and when I say gigantic, it's going to take you 30 minutes to walk up this boulder. It's sort of like Ayers Rock in Australia. Not quite as impressive, but it's got that same vibe. So if you're a hiker, going to Enchanted Rock is a really fun thing to do as well. Now, the last day trip I recommend going to is Johnson City. Johnson City is sort of an up-and-coming town to visit. It's pretty close to Fredericksburg, so a lot of people just drive on by and miss Johnson City altogether. Well, there are a couple of things I recommend in Johnson City. One, I recommend going to William Chris Winery, which is one of the best wineries in the Hill Country. And when you're staying in Fredericksburg, make sure to do a winery tour or go to some of the wineries. It's one of the most fun things to do when you're staying in and around Fredericksburg and Johnson City. Another thing to do is to go to the exotic zoo. You have to book a reservation in advance, and it's a little bizarre. You get in the back of a tractor and they drive you around and they show you buffalo and wild antelope and goats and all that, but it is a fun thing to do, especially if you have kiddos with you, or even if you're an adult. I did it with a girlfriend of mine and we're both in our early 50s and we had a great time. So maybe going to the exotic zoo would be the perfect day thing or the afternoon thing to do for you if you're going to be in Johnson City. And again, make sure to go to the wineries while you're in the Hill Country. Is it Napa? No. Is it Sonoma? No. Is it Burgundy? Of course not. But it is a lot of fun to go see the wines. There are so many. You can take vans, you can go on your own. They are very welcoming. They do wine tastings. You can eat at some of them. You can do wine tours as well. So it's a similar vibe of being in the other parts of the wine country, but the wine stays very different here in Texas. That sums up all of our day trips from Austin. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe so you're the first to know about what's happening in Austin, as well as reach out to us in the description below and book a call so we can help you realize your real estate dreams in town. Thanks so much, and we'll see you on the next video.